Hey everyone, JC at StarCraft here, bringing you Game 2 of the semifinals for the Go4SC2 number 32 between White-Ra and NaNiWa. Sorry. So action getting started here on Lost Temple. White-Ra spawning as the red Protoss in the 6 o'clock position, and NaNiWa spawning as the salmon Protoss in the 12 o'clock position. Both players, of course, very, very strong, and NaNiWa up right now 1-0 in this PvP matchup. In the previous game, it was kind of, I think White-Ra was kind of adjusting after he had scouted his opponent, kind of reacting. Initially went for a 3-gate Robo, but then transitioned to Blink Stalker once he saw that NaNiWa was going pretty much just heavy Blink Stalker from the very beginning. And then NaNiWa transitioned out of that into a mix of units, including getting a few Immortals out, and well, White-Ra, I think, felt like he had an advantage. He actually did have an advantage for most of the game, but stuck with pretty much all Stalkers the entire game, and unfortunately didn't fare well for him in the end, so NaNiWa is up 1-0. They are at the cross positions right now, so it should be interesting to see if either player will change their strategy. Protoss versus Protoss became a lot more popular in the past week in a lot of major tournaments, as even though there is kind of, even though Protoss was out of the IEM semifinals and finals, that was just pretty much just all Zerg Terran. Protoss has made a strong case for itself in the MLG as the top 3 players from the MLG championship, which is probably the second biggest prize, cash prize for StarCraft 2 since the launch, was all Protoss. So should be pretty interesting. Both players missing the scout on the first attempt. It looks like NaNiWa didn't even drop by the tower. Kind of a interesting play by him. Doesn't really feel like he needs to hit the tower. White-Ra, meanwhile, did touch the tower as he went by to see if he could try to see where his opponent was going. And NaNiWa, now both players are going to be able to scout each other out at this point. So looking at the production tab, pretty standard opening from both players. Cybernetics core going down. There is a Zealot coming out for White-Ra at this point. Just getting it out, and hasn't gone with his cybernetics score, so a little bit behind right now. I think just working on, I don't know, maybe waiting to get his scout down to see what his opponent was up to, trying to get in there and harass as much as possible. Does see that his opponent does have the cybernetics core down, so I think White-Ra kind of playing a slightly reactive game at this point. Looking at the income tab, both players are pretty even. White-Ra is slightly ahead in the harvester count, so might have been planning of throwing down a few things a little bit later so that he could pull ahead. Yes, actually is up ahead 21-20. Very, very small, very small kind of advantage at that point, but any advantage that he can get trying to stalk down this lone probe here, not going to be able to do it. So the probe will be able to scout out everything in the base, just trying to run around. Does see that the cybernetics core is down as well, and the second Zealot coming out for White-Ra at this point. So his probe has stolen some money, and NaNiWa opting to go straight for the Stalker, not going to get any Zealots onto the field at all. And so going to be going pretty much with a similar game as last time. Second gate now going down for NaNiWa, so it should be pretty interesting if he's going to go Blink Stalker yet again, or if he's going to try to change things up, because they are in the cross positions. Finally, the probe is chased out of there, although it does survive. So NaNiWa able to hold on to that probe, and it looks like a 3-gate Robo going down yet again for White-Ra. White-Ra really hasn't changed too much of his strategy, although if he's going to, I think he really wants to get that Observer in as soon as possible to see where his opponent is going. NaNiWa getting out an early sentry. He did see the aggression. His opponent did build a few Zealots coming out, so you know there could be a chance that there might be some sort of Zealot push, an early aggression going down, getting the sentry out to block off this ramp and choke it off with the force fields to kind of hold out until he can get some reinforcements in. And it looks like Warp is being researched and finished for him and it looks like Warp already finished. Pretty much similar timing for both players. I think White-Ra probably pumped out a few more chrono boosts. So looking at the income tab, and it's now NaNiWa who's slightly ahead in the harvester count, although both players are very, very even at this point. So a very even match on both sides. White-Ra now going to be exploring and probably trying to take control of the Xel'Naga watchtower, or at least checking it out, scoping it out, see if there's any units that he can pick off alone right there. Although NaNiWa probably has pretty good reaction time. There is a ping going down because we do see that NaNiWa not going to be throwing down the Twilight Council and going to be getting the robotics facility. So not entirely sure why that ping was out there, but able to pick off that probe and hunt it down. Now White-Ra going to be retreating as he has less units coming in right now. Oh, so it looks like White-Ra going to be going for a Colossus this time, and just kind of pushing forward with that build. So 3-gate Robo with Colossus coming out, and the same goes for NaNiWa at this point too. So both players just kind of opting to have a mirror match at this point. White-Ra seems like he's going to be the first to kind of get his scout on. We'll see that Robo Bay being thrown down in the back. There's some sort of lag going on there. The hockey is being spammed by NaNiWa to keep his APM up. Speaking of which, looking at both players, NaNiWa definitely he's spamming away right now with 200 and not too much action going on the field to really justify that, but just kind of alternating between his units, keeping his fingers fast and nimble for when the action actually does go down, so that it is warm and he can fire away, and just kind of keeping a rhythm throughout the game. A big reason why a lot of players will continue to keep things moving. Looking at the Army tab, both players dead even right now. Neither player really having an advantage. Now NaNiWa able to scout things out as well. Sees that his opponent is also going for Colossus. NaNiWa going to be the first to take his expansion right now, and feeling comfortable that his opponent is White-Ra is not going to really push and do any sort of crazy early aggression at this point. Both sides looking at the unit composition, just an extra sentry and more zealot heavy for White-Ra, although that won't favor against going up against the Colossus at all. Might have been expecting possibly Blink Stalkers or something this game. Probably not if he's going to go for the Colossus at this point. But, and a lot of lag going down. NaNiWa not so thrilled about that at all. Both players just kind of figuring out that each other are no early aggression, meaning that they can safely try to establish their mid-game economy and take that natural expansion, hold it down at this point. With so many zealots out on the field, I assume White-Ra will be throwing down Twilight Council at some point to maybe have his zealots do a bit more damage, especially when they're getting blasted away from the thermal lanced Colossus. So more Colossus, a bulking up of forces on both sides, slightly uncharacteristic really. Normally you see a lot of early aggression from both players and testing the ground, but they are pretty evenly mirrored at this point. Both players still looks like NaNiWa going to start pulling ahead as his expansion is going down. The transfer going over at this point already happening, but just a few more units, and now White-Ra going to be establishing his as well. NaNiWa is able to see everything going on, does know that he has a slight economic advantage while and is ahead in the harvester count, as he was able to get that Nexus out a little bit faster than White-Ra. And so now both sides just kind of bulking up their army. White-Ra at this point actually pulling slightly ahead, so just pumping out more units. It looks like more gateways going down from NaNiWa's side, and really this is just going to be one big micro battle in the middle, and whoever seems to be able to get that battle off better will probably win. So both sides just content right now, pumping out whatever they can and just gearing up for a mega push going down. Neither side really has gotten a forge as far as I've seen, so no upgrades going down, and this will be a pure micro battle. Colossus after Colossus just coming out. So I don't know when the battle will occur, but it looks like White-Ra is getting ready to go ahead and push in. NaNiWa does have a few more stalkers, and it looks like White-Ra just has been focusing on getting more zealots on the ground. I have to actually give this in favor of NaNiWa at the moment, just because he does have a sentry in the mix, can kind of push the zealots back a little bit. The zealots, unfortunately, they're going to have some pretty bad position, especially if NaNiWa tries to take advantage of these cliffs, and if they meet there, which it looks like they will. The stalkers caught a little bit out of position, and now it's Colossus versus Colossus really. And the problem is, like, they're just going to kite these zealots. The zealots are just falling quickly, and a front line being established, all the zealots pretty much going down for White-Ra. So yeah, that unit composition not so great for him, unfortunately, against the massive Colossus army, and the Colossus will have to retreat at this point. Now these Colossus can be hit. White-Ra just throwing, oh, it looks like NaNiWa going to be throwing down the proxy pylon. Unfortunately, plenty of sight up on these towers, and White-Ra, it looks like White-Ra's lone Probe was just left alone there, fried as he runs by, and just unfortunately for White-Ra, just not the correct unit composition to go up against the same amount of Colossus. The Zealots were kited away, and White-Ra right now actually in a decently bad position, as he might have enough units to hold off a push, but the proxy pylon is going down for NaNiWa, and NaNiWa will be able to reinforce as he comes in. Here come the units now. They are able to gain some sort of high ground site because of the Colossus, and also the Observer there providing site for them. And it looks like NaNiWa is just going to pretty much just steamroll over White-Ra at this point. So unfortunate unit composition for White-Ra. Pretty much lost the first battle, and then poor Immortal just trying to get out there doing some damage, but not really going to be able to. His expansion is falling down, so I expect a GG from White-Ra pretty soon, and NaNiWa going to be moving on into the finals. So, you know, careful about having too many Zealots early on without charge up against the cool lasers from the Colossus. So NaNiWa going to be winning the series 2-0 and moving on to the finals. I will be broadcasting those. This has been JCS StarCraft, and I'm signing off.